All right, welcome to the party, everybody. We're here in Grand Junction, Colorado on Sunday, 11:21 in the morning here in Grand Junction. Beautiful day, 64 degrees, sunny skies. And this is a Sunday, as I mentioned, so it's a full flight video today. We're going to take a quick little half-hour flight down to Durango, Colorado. It's about 150 miles south, and expecting a nice, beautiful flight, beautiful weather. Gorgeous in Durango as well. Today, 61 degrees and sunny. Winds out of the west. We'll see if that holds in the sim. But let's get started on our setup procedure. There's that weird bounce we've grown accustomed to when we jump into the flight deck. Fix our camera as always. Haven't done a full flight video in a while, so let's hope this is a good one. Batteries, gens, APU, gen, and APU start. Calibrate the altimeter, 2984. Set our PFD settings, wind option 2. Nav source is GPS, bearing 1's GPS. 180, they want us up to 18,000 feet. Let's see right here what we're doing.
System test. Okay.
We've entered 18,000 on our altitude selector. Go ahead and set our VS vertical speed at 3,500 feet. You see this right here? FTM's feet per minute. And our auto throttle controls. Switch from FMS to man. Set 195. Our pitot heat on. Don't imagine needing it today, but we'll have it ready to go. Start our right engine. Verifying APU is at 100%. Watch N2% come up on the right engine first. Zoom in on our MFD. Get ready to taxi around the airport with greater ease. Switch back to our normal view. Here comes pushback. Ooh, big old plane here at Grand Junction. There's always a little bugginess with this, as you can see. It'll fix itself here in just a moment. Come on. Come on, fix. There you go. Make sure, I think our parking brake's still on. Yes. Fix our camera. Again. It only seems to do that once. If you notice, we go outside now and look around. Now go back in, and it's still on manual. So, at least it's not recurring. Right engine's at 59.8. That's good. We'll do our left engine now. Get that left engine going. See that N2% coming up? Right there.
Grand Junction, ground Cessna November 34 Bravo Whiskey requesting the end of pushback.
Let's go ahead and do our flaps. Notch 1. Okay. Get our recognition anti-collision lights on.
November 34 Bravo Whiskey with Gulf ready to taxi IFR.
Okay. Things looking good so far.
Cessna November 34 Bravo Whiskey taxi to and hold short of runway 29er using taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118.
Go ahead and enter our ILS frequency for runway 03 at Durango, which is where we're going to be landing. Weather, or rather winds on the setup page showed winds 345 at 5 knots, which is why we selected ILS runway 03. But there's only one runway there, so if the winds are out of the west-southwest, then it would be better for us to land on the opposite direction, but whatever. We'll see what happens. 109.1 for the ILS frequency. There's a VOR at Durango 108.2, which we'll enter as well. Reconfirm. Nav 1's 1. What happened? Oh, transfer. There we go. 109.1 for Nav 1. And nav 2's 108.2. And we'll switch bearing 2 over to nav 2. We'll set our minimums, which we won't need, but just be aware of them. They are 6843. All right. Oh, last but not least, our speed bugs. Set our VY as 195. And our VAP at 145. And all on. VR is 120. Although, frankly, I think it's at this altitude, we'll set it at 140. VX doesn't apply. We're not trying to climb out of here real steep. No need to. Okay, right or left here, Coach East? Let's go outside and look. Make sure both our engines are... Well, this is interesting. There's a disagreement. Oh, look! This is cool. Good little lesson here. N2% here on the left engine, 65.8. On the right, it's 59.8. Fuel flow per hour is 348 on the left and 280 on the right. Now, that's a concerning. Why would the left engine be running higher than the right? Well, you look down here at your throttle control and whoops. See? So now go back and confirm. Now they're in parity. PPH 287 left, 280 right. It's almost in parity. There we go. All right, now we're in business. Anyway, that was kind of interesting. Don't see that. I've not seen that happen before. APU, we can turn that off. And let's taxi. Let's just make sure where they want us. Okay, so we're going to go right. We're going to go like this. Let's do it. Put this on timer page. Not start our timer yet, but we'll put it on timer page. All right, let's go. Get our taxi lights on, too. There's our arrows. Landing on this, or rather taking off from the same runway we landed on yesterday. That is runway 29. $159 miles specifically on this route. But we're starting at 5,000 feet, and landing, airport elevation is 6689 down at Durango, so less climbing and descending required. I don't know why they're taking us this way. They want us to apparently use the runway as a taxiway. Okay, if you guys say so. And there's somebody on final. Oh, that's wonderful. It's not clear to me why they're taking us on this, so I'm going to, on my own volition, exit the runway. Because this guy, whoever he is, who's on final, is not going to be happy to see me trundling down the runway. There we go. They've reset themselves. For now. Let's see if they try to drag us back onto the runway again. Hopefully not. There's a big fuel truck there that's about to get in my way. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it just took me out onto the runway. That was weird. And there is somebody on final. I don't know if you can... Here he is. Pretty short final, too. That's pretty cool watching him come in. Looks like he's in a nice approach. Oh! That was kind of an interesting landing. I'm going to cruise right through a forklift right here. Winds are once more not consistent in sim as on the setup page. As you can see the sock right there. We're taking off with a mild tailwind.
Approaching runway 22.
They've got this little rinky-dink runway right here.
Runway 22, 4,900 feet remaining.
All right.
Approaching runway 29. Entered runway 29.
Go ahead and stop here.
10,300 feet remaining.
Hopefully, there we go. Good.
Grand Junction Tower Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Bravo Whiskey at runway 29 are ready for takeoff IFR to Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar.
Cessna November Tree
DRO,
Bravo Whiskey
Durango.
cleared for takeoff runway 29er.
Clear for takeoff, 29er. Set the whiskey.
Cleared for takeoff runway 29er Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Bravo Whiskey.
All right, gang. We'll get on the runway. We'll zoom out on our MFD, sync our heading bug, and we'll head down to Durango for our full flight video. Full flight Sunday. Okay. All right. Look here on the MFD. We're nicely lined up. Zoom out on that MFD. And we're going to switch to nav mode right off the start. Okay, I think we'll still sync our heading bug just in case we need to turn on our heading on the AP if necessary. And yeah, taking off a little 6-knot tailwind. Not ideal, but that's the way it goes. You can see that's reflected in the sock. The sock would be straight out 90 degrees to its mounting when the winds are 15 knots or above. That's how they're designed. Okay, enough chatter. Almost forgot, start that timer. Airspeed's alive. $80 knots. 120. 140. And rotate. Here we go. Positive rate. Gear up. Engage autopilot. Engage auto throttle. Engage FLC.
134.5 for Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
That went pretty smooth.
Denver Center Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Bravo Whiskey is climbing.
Bring in those flaps.
300 feet for flight level 180.
Goodbye Durango. I'm sorry, goodbye Grand Junction. Off we go to Durango.
Generic 827, you are 48 miles west.
Speed up a little bit.
13,000 feet, expect ILS runway 26, approach by Romeo India Lima 54 radial 201 DMER, cleared to Romeo India Lima.
That looks good. A 10-mile range on the MFD, that's fine. Making left, nice sweeping gentle left turn. Going up to 18,000 right now per instructions from ATC. A lot of agriculture down there. It's the OMI. Yeah, fun exploring Colorado. I have actually been toying, believe it or not, with the idea of returning to the TBM.
Denver Center Southwest 8505 is at flight level.
Maybe not anytime soon, but I think it's wise to see it as a forward-backward progression. That is, it's not only always moving up to a newer, faster, sleeker, more expensive airplane. You can feel free to go back to the other planes that you've had a lot of fun with. Let's go ahead and increase our airspeed. We're more than high enough. Always forget when you're taking off from a high altitude airport that it doesn't take very long to get above the speed limit deck. We're at 17,300, climbing 18,000. We'll wait and see if we get further climb instructions. I think our cruising altitude today is, what did I say, 26,000? Such a short flight. 24,000 maybe? Can't remember.
Cessna 3 Bravo Whiskey climb and maintain flight level 280.
280, okay.
Climb and maintain flight level 280. Cessna
Re-engage the
3 Bravo
FLC. Flying up to 28,000 now.
Climbing through transition altitude.
Betty's telling us we had a standard altimeter, 902. Also on the standby. Those landing lights off now. Don't need those anymore. Beautiful. Wow. Colorado on an April morning, Sunday. Western Colorado. Rockies are out here. Or at least the Continental Divide is out there. We're not going to be at our cruising altitude for too long.
Destination ASOS is 120.625.
Already getting the ASOS frequency. We haven't even finished our climb yet. That's a short flight. Nice canyons down there. River. That is the Gunnison River, in case anyone was wondering. Amazing visuals, truly. Gunnison River, right here. Almost to cruising altitude. As I said, not going to be there for particularly long, but there's an airplane right there. Go ahead and zoom out slightly on our MFD to 20 miles. There, that guy right there is shown there. All right, leveling out at 28,000. Let's go ahead and crank up our speed here a little bit. Set it to Mach units. We're at 7.3 right now. We'll set 7.8. And we're going to be there in a hot minute. As quick as boiled asparagus. Yeah, I don't think I've done a full flight since we got back from our trip to Jamaica. Looks beautiful down there. Let's turn on that bank limiter, though. I don't want to be turning too aggressively. As far as our approach goes, and again, God knows if the winds are going to cooperate, but well, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. Why is it doing that? I'll have to check on. We might have to do a little dancing. Take over on the approach if autopilot starts doing anything goofy because of that weird thing. Got a nice tailwind. Partial right quartering tailwind, 61 knots. Ground speed's 490 knots. True airspeed's 463. Knots indicated 318, 319. We're seeing our weird wobble we've gotten used to. So we'll switch over to heading mode just to avoid that. That'll level it out. But it'll require that we keep a sharp eye on our track course, because it does tend to drift a little. 115 miles out, we're at 28,000 feet. You'd expect to initiate a descent at about 93 miles, but that's if the runway was at sea level. So what does that mean? Well, we're at 28,000 feet right now. That's true, okay? But since the airport that we're landing at is at 6,800 feet, basically that means we're at 22,000 feet above ground level. So you have to work that into your calculations. You notice the CDI is starting to drift a little bit to the right. Okay, in order to descend down to the 190, that's the real whiskey. As I said, we were not at our cruising altitude for very long. But they're initiating this descent earlier than they need to, which is fine. It's not a, I wouldn't call that a bug or anything. Descend at 1,200 feet per minute right now. You can see right there. As long as you're in Mach mode, you're not going to see your VS indication over here, but you can still see it here. And we will set 0.76 now as we begin descending. It's beautiful down there. A lot of mountains, a lot of trails. My favorite places on Earth. Still got snow on the ground. In terms of seasons, I don't know how. I mean, I know the sim didn't incorporate winter. They got around to it. But then when do they phase it out? I kind of wonder about that. Just passed over the Tabagauchi Special Management Area. Whatever that is. "98 miles out now on this very pleasant Sunday morning flight down to Durango, Colorado. I haven't landed at Durango in FS 2020. I've landed there several times in FSX and previous versions, but see, we're drifting a little bit still off of our track line. That's because we're in HDG mode to avoid the wobble. So we just turn right a little bit, a couple degrees, and that should start to bring us back into line, bring this magenta CDI line back to the left.
Southwest 1234 traffic is 4 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 3.
Slow to 7.4.
Report them in sight.
And 2 more degrees to the right. That wind is pushing us because it's coming from behind us and to the right. So it's, as long as you're in HDG mode, it's not going to necessarily track like you want it to. So at 80 miles out, you'd expect to be at 24,000 feet, right? But given the fact that the airport's at 7,000 feet, what does that mean? That means that while this says we're at 24,800, 25,000 feet roughly, functionally, effectively, we're at 18,000 feet in terms of managing your descent. Keeping that in mind keeps you from spending the last 40 miles of your flight, you know, basically skimming the treetops. Obviously less than ideal to be doing something like that. I don't know if you can see on the CDI. See how it's gotten more aligned now? Because we've made a correction to the right. Yeah, let's switch back to nav mode and let's see if we still have a wobble, if we still have an oscillation. We are getting VOR data now. How do I know that? Well, a couple ways. The compass heading here, you see this cyan arrow, and also here on nav 2 bearing, it's DRO, Durango, 58.3 miles. Now that doesn't mean we're actually 58 miles. That means in a straight line we're 58 miles from the airport. But it doesn't mean that we're not flying in a straight line to the airport. We're flying like that.
Descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 3 approach via Delta Romeo Oscar 9er. 6 radial 140 DNVR. Clear to Delta Romeo Oscar.
Okay, we're cleared to Delta Romeo Oscar. Slow, continue slowing. Switch off of Mach mode now. It's at 320. Still got that wobble, as you can see. 70 miles out, 22,600 feet. Remember though, we're really at 15,000 feet AGL. Down to 12,000, so that's what I was getting. Continue slowing.
Going to 118.5, 75 Delta 7903.
Bumpy. Anytime you do a mountain approach in flight sim, you want to be cautious because they can sometimes give you contradictory or goofy instructions.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
I'm passing over something called the North Nipple Reservoir. You see what I mean? What just happened? They told us to descend at 11, and they told us to descend at 12. Getting contradictory instructions, so you just want to... North Nipple Reservoir. What an interesting name for a reservoir. Anyway, you just want to stay on top of that, because blindly following their instructions can lead you right into a mountain. Look at that. Wow. Down to 11,000.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
Continue slowing. We'll probably continue to get contrary instructions. Yeah, you see what I mean? I'm glad you're witness to this.
Descend and maintain 12,000 feet Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
We're 60 miles. Whoa. This will keep happening.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet Cessna Tree Bravo.
I don't act on it after they start doing repeated contradictory instructions like this. I just stop listening. It's funny.
Descend and maintain 12,000 feet Cessna Tree Bravo.
They'll keep doing that. All right, 50 miles out. Where do you want to be at 50 miles normally? 15,000. We're at 19.8. Dealing with a lot of turbulence. That lowest instruction was 11,000, but right now the only instruction we've got is 12,000. So just passed over Taylor Creek. And right now Highway 145. Oh, brother.
Descend and maintain 13,000 feet Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
This only happens in mountainous areas. You see what I mean? Such bullshit.
Descend and maintain 11,000.
I don't know what the technical reasons why it would do that. I'm sure there are, but I just don't know what them. Now they're handing us off to center. 48 miles and 19,100 feet. Going over some major terrain. See this. That is some high altitude stuff. Looks great though. That's the kind of cragginess that I want to see. Okay, 43 miles out. At 40 miles, you want to be at 12. We're at 18.5, so that's perfect because it's a 7,000-foot runway. This is a good example about you want to be careful Because if you can see what would happen. I mean, we're not that high above these mountains. Ooh, look at that. Look at the turbulence kicking us around.
Maintain 12,000 feet Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
Can't even get my hands on the buttons. 12,000.
Transition altitude. Nearest altimeter 2991.
Betty says nearest altimeter is 2991. That's confirmed.
Tree Bravo Whiskey descent and maintain 11,000 feet.
Down to 11,000.
American 133 to contact Denver Center on 125.35.
Didn't get much in the way of the approach plate on this, other than that we want to be at 8,800 feet at Jubep. Right here.
Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey descent and maintain 10,000 feet.
Down to 10,000, said the real whiskey. At least they're not going up anymore.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
That is Lake Nighthorse.
5.35 American 1332.
Lake Nighthorse. Have to look that up later. Continue slowing. Okay, we're basically getting set up now, so let's start slowing down. 30 miles out, 30 miles left, effectively. Let's go ahead and switch over to Nav 1 on bearing 1. And we do have IDRO, India Delta Romeo Oscar, so that's good. We're just going too fast. So what we're going to do right now is disconnect the auto throttle, okay? I'm going to put out speed brakes. It's going to slow us down. Then we'll reset the auto throttle to 180. This is the only way to effectively slow down and to do so without being constantly regaled with, actually let's keep it at 190, with landing gear alarms. Here, keep an eye on that airspeed though. As long as you have those speed brakes deployed like this, you're going to slow down and you're going to slow down fast, which is fine. Now bring in those speed brakes and re-engage the auto throttle. Now we're in good shape. We do have ILS glide slope information showing us too high, which is understandable. Go ahead and increase our descent rate. 2,000 feet per minute. 20 miles out. I want to be at 13,000 feet at 20 miles out. We're at 26 miles out. We're at 14,000. So we're fine. We get those landing lights on. See right now what we're doing. We're just flying this. Don't know what's going to happen when we get to this. If it tries something weird, I'm going to take over.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
Speed
gear.
brake to shut him up.
Landing gear.
That'll cause the throttle to go up. There we go. Okay. I'm going to slow us down to 180 now.
Landing gear.
And we'll go through the same routine we just did, where we disconnect this, take it out of that mode, use the speed brakes to help slow you down. Get down to our approach, more reasonable approach speeds. 180, 184, 183, okay, speed brakes retracted. Re-engage the auto throttle. Set 175, and we'll do a notch of flaps here in just a blink. Got our glide slope info coming up. This is good news. What I'm going to do to avoid this problem,
Landing gear.
oh brother,
Landing gear. Landing gear.
is I'm going to engage nav mode, and that'll help us avoid whatever's going on with this. Because right now it's going to link to the ILS. We're too low though now. Not too low, but we're a little low. Coming down to 10,000 here very quickly, so that's perfect. Leveling out, is in point of fact. I'm having trouble slowing us down because the auto throttle's not engaged. I'll get that landing gear alarm again, I bet. Stop that. More speed brake action. Notch of flaps. Re-engage. Set 170. It's all going nicely. Quite nicely, actually. Glide slope information coming in perfectly. We'll hit APPR. Winds are 15 knot tailwinds, so we may be landing on the wrong runway, but we're landing on the runway that ATC told us to land on, so if nothing else. Winds appear to be out of the southwest, and on the goddamn setup page, they were out of the north. I got him. I got him. There's the runway. We're on the glide slope, so we're in great shape. Go outside. Landing gear. Another notch of flaps. There's that guy, see? Cancel IFR.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet, Cessna Tree
That's
Bravo
just
Whiskey.
ATC screw up. Cancel IFR.
Denver Center Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey would like to cancel IFR.
Depressurize.
Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated.
Okay, we're looking good.
Log 1200.
Set 150. Full flaps.
Frequency change approved.
Landing lights are on.
Commuter 483, 8 have a Cessna C700 in sight.
It's the OMI.
Denver Center
AP
Cessna
there,
November
bug.
Tree 43 Bravo
Showing the
Whiskey
approach.
is type Cessna C700, 8 miles southwest of Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar.
Zoom in on the
Request flight
MFD.
following.
Cessna November Tree 43 Bravo Whiskey Denver Center. Squawk 5626.
We're gonna exit left once we land. Set 145.
626 Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey radar contact 6 miles southwest of Kilo Delta Romeo.
Not quite
Oscar,
aligned.
8,300
Even though we're on the glide slope and the localizer,
9.901.
need that to move over just a tiny bit. 29901. Altimeter's unchanged. Can I get permission to land?
Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar traffic Cessna November Tree 43 Bravo Whiskey 5 miles southwest 8,000 feet inbound to land runway tree.
Thank you.
Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar traffic Cessna November Tree 43 Bravo Whiskey is on final runway tree to land.
So there's no tower to talk to, so it's just a CTAF, Unicom frequency. All right. Auto throttle disconnected. Keep that airspeed. All right, we look really good. Really good. Coming in over these mountains, these ridge lines rather. Looks great. Wow. Got red and white on the poppies. Autopilot.
Autopilot. 500.
I have the airplane. Fix that last little alignment. It's not really a tailwind. It's 15 knots coming at us from the left.
500.
It's going to blow us around a little bit. Red and white on the Vasi. Definitely feeling the winds. Definitely feeling the winds. We're going to get tossed when we land, so brace yourself. Holy! Oh my god. That was one of my worst. I can't do it.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
I gotta go mist. Mist approach requires a right turn.
Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar traffic Cessna November Tree 43 Bravo Whiskey going around.
All right. It's okay. Go up to 10,000. Sorry, that's going to extend our flight a little bit, but I hope you can understand. I just couldn't bring myself to permit that. We bounced on landing, and I didn't have enough runway left. Runway length is 9201. I didn't have enough runway left. Okay, we're at 10,000 now. Basically, gotta fly the downwind. Whew, man, that was scary. I'm not gonna lie. We bounced, and I realized in very short order that if there was no way we were gonna be able to make it back onto the runway and land. It just wasn't gonna happen. There wasn't enough runway in front of us. But the part that was scary about it was that even going, you know, cranking the... Got one notch of flap still, which is fine. Even cranking the throttle was still... I felt like it was struggling. Probably because we're at altitude. Alright, I'm hand flying all this right now. We're at 10,000 feet. We're going to try this again. This is just kind of a classic situation when there's high winds. It kind of is what you might expect, and that is tricky. So right now we're flying the downwind. We are 4.7 miles from the airport. We'll make a right turn here in just a second. But what I'm watching, in case you're wondering, is I'm watching this green diamond for when it starts to come back up. Because that'll tell me that it's safe for us to make that right turn to go base. I did study the missed approach on the plate, and it did say that you have to go right. I'm trying to lose a little altitude here just to get us back on the glide slope. Okay, it's coming up, so we'll make our right turn. All by hand right now, gang, so just be gentle with me. Land that airspeed. Tense, very tense. Let's see if we need to... On final.
Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar traffic Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Bravo Whiskey is on final runway tree to left.
Again. Turn off that bank limiter. There's that red line. Engage the AP. And the APPR. Try to use the autopilot to get us lined up. Slow us down. We get our gear back down. Again. It should be turning, it's not. So I'm going to disengage the autopilot and do it myself. Sorry, we're doing an air show for the people of Durango. I don't know why it didn't line up on its own. It did last time, that's kind of weird. Our altitude's fine. Right now it's just a localizer issue. 140. Green diamond's perfect though on our glide slope, so we're fine there. Trim it. Full flaps. We'll try this again. Tense, very tense. 140, 139. No, 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 no. Don't be dropping. Get that green diamond back up. There we go. There we go. All right. Wish me luck, guys. This was more dramatic than I had anticipated. 150. Looking good on the glide slope. Tiny bit high. Still got those winds. No change. 15, 16, 17 knots from the left.
Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar traffic Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Bravo Whiskey is on final runway tree to left.
143 airspeed. Glide slope's perfect. All right, now we're properly aligned again. Airspeed's a little low.
500.
Oof, feeling these winds. Coming in over this ridge line off there to the bottom left.
500.
16 knots, 17 knots, 15, bouncing around a little bit. Red's in the Vossi, red and white now. Here we go. We'll bring us in a little lower than usual just to get us on the ground. Come on. Come on. Nice. We did it. Oh, man. Holy smokes, you guys. That one took a few years off my life. Make our left turn here. And there's no tower, so God knows where we're going to park. But let's go to that. Let's see. Now it's clear a runway, and then I guess we're just going to pick a place to park.
Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar traffic Cessna
Outside.
November 343 Bravo Whiskey is clear of the runway.
Bring in those spoilers. Bring in those flaps. I'm just looking at an airport diagram, and it appears as though GA parking is right in front of us. I don't see any other airplanes. There's a lot of cars. Jesus Christ. But I don't see anywhere specific to park, so we'll just park straight ahead. See if we can find any yellow lines. Landing lights off, taxi lights on, pulse lights off. Zoom in on this anymore? Alright. Well, we'll go outside and we'll park. Welcome to Durango, local time 12:08 p.m. in a very exciting approach. There's a car sitting in the taxiway. Oh well. This appears to be parking of some sort. Right here. So we'll do that. Make a big U-turn. Park right here. Right by these guys. Presuming that he's... Ah, look! Is he for me? It is! My God, what a coincidence. I just happened to find my parking guy. Or did I? I don't know, he's just holding up those sticks. Oh, there we go. Yeah, what do you know? I actually found the parking guy. All right. Parking brake. Right engine. Well, that was exciting and dramatic. We're parked, safe in Durango. Sort of lined up. I mean, I was following his instructions in my defense. I will look forward to when they finally get... oh, timer. Shit. 37 minutes. since we started our takeoff roll. It'll be fun when they finally get replay mode, because that would have been bitching to watch that missed approach that I flew. All right. 33-minute flight from Grand Junction down to Durango with a whole lot of excitement baked in. Good grief. Yeah, I'll have to break down that missed approach again when I watch the video, but we just landed so hard and then bounced up so high that for me to just manhandle, force it back onto the ground, it would have been stupid, because we were just eating up runway. So yeah, full throttle, gear up, one notch of flap, and configuration, and we did the missed approach, but it was anxiety inducing to say the least. Anyway, thanks again for joining us, and for our full flight video here on Sunday, and we'll see where we head next. But it's been fun, and even if a little nerve-wracking. Have a good day.